Hello everybody, my name is Pravus and welcome back to more Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich, playing as the Russian Empire, still engaged with Eastern Europe, and I mean pretty much all of Eastern Europe at this point, since Poland has now joined and made everything a lot more complicated. So, we are currently working on making use of some of my first proper tank divisions to encircle the enemy, and that's going to be quite a few more casualties for me. Then we'll just go ahead and reorganize the tanks and continue doing exactly that, making use of my mobile warfare doctrine as aggressively as I can. Let's have you guys pop in here as well. We're just trying to burn some of these guys down a little faster. Not really trying to do too much with some of these guys, though. Can you possibly punch in over here and finish off a couple more infantry? I just want to get the noose nice and tight around here. Preferably grab this city right here so there's no real local supply to worry about. And then we're going to be set. Purple, I'm actually going to have you push over here as soon as you're able to. They're trying really hard to push through this exact spot, but I don't know how well they're going to do there, actually. Actually, you know what? Even better. Sit back on that. Let's get my tanks and see if they can do the job, pushing in here at least a little bit. And then we'll have a couple of you join up as well. Anything to try and take away these zones. All right. So, honestly, I think the war is going just fine. It's going to end up being a little bit costly, and we need more units. We, in particular, need more tanks, and we need a lot more fuel. But overall, we're sort of doing okay. If I can't get seriously a lot more fuel, though, that's when we're going to have some serious problems. I thought I said I wanted to trade a lot more with the United States. And somehow we've lost all of my tungsten. What? Reset? Here exactly? I reloaded the game and something changed. And I don't know why, but it concerns me. Okay, well, let's keep an eye on that in the future then, shall we? Modify the government. Do we want to do that? I mean, we could change up some of our economy law. We could move up to service by requirements for a lot more manpower, but we're sitting on 3 million right now. That's not the big deal. It would be good to get some military staff going. We could also try for some designers. For example, a fighter manufacturer that gives us extra agility and range is pretty dang good. I don't really care about the max speed and stuff like that, and I don't think I want to make anything cheaper there. So yeah, this wouldn't be bad. We could also start looking at naval ship designers, in which case a cruiser manufacturer might be okay. Reducing surface visibility is huge. Or, alternatively, let's just make submarines and destroyers better. No, I don't think I would want that. I might want the cruiser destroyer. Yeah, so those are all options. A chief of staff, of course, would also be fantastic. You get some really good bonuses out of a lot of this. Same with the chief of army and so on. So I don't know. What do I want really right here? I think I'm going to hold on to the political power, and we're going to try to go for a chief of staff because I don't absolutely need the air bonuses right now, though they would certainly be nice. It's just not absolutely required. Let's see, we did manage to sink down a small convoy, good. I have been trying to do some research as far as the proper naval composition I need to go for. And one thing we should have been doing, which I didn't think about because I never think about it because navies. What I should have been doing is actually having my fleet go off and train for a little bit in a safe zone before the war so we can get enough naval experience to actually change up our ship templates. Didn't worry about it. Should have, but didn't. Hey, by the way, let's go ahead and integrate Karelia there as well. So, that was a mistake on my part. We could have gotten some experience and actually tried creating some navies. I actually really would like to try to experiment a bit with naval templates and try to figure out a new meta. Well, maybe not the new meta, but at least, like, get me to figure out what the meta is supposed to be. Because up to this point, I really haven't bothered with it at all. I've never really learned how to make a proper navy in the game. And that's just because navies are freaking complicated and confusing, dude. And I didn't want to deal with it. So, that's my reasoning. It's not good reasoning, but that's my reasoning. I really need to change that. Because learning how to make a good... no, we still have the encirclement here. Learning how to make a good navy would be very significant for me. Alright, so Lithuania just capitulated, but there's still troops over here, so that's going to continue being an issue. That said, notice that their organization is practically non-existent. So we're going to go ahead and just continue bombarding the ever-living snot out of you folks for a bit. Keep burning them down, don't give them any ground to go anywhere else. Let's try to attack over here as well. I want to focus fire a little bit more in this area while they're low on supply so we can prevent them from getting any more supply generation in this area, and that's going to be several 100,000 more casualties, I think, on my end, which will be great. You guys can all get docked up for now. What do we have here, by the way? Looks like some heavy cruisers, light cruisers, and I'm going to assume these are destroyers, yes. These are considered to be what? Escort? Yeah, escort cruisers versus heavy cruisers. Interesting. Battleships, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. I don't think we have nearly enough screens for this particular navy. I know that we don't, actually. This counts as to, well, if they're escort cruisers, I guess they count technically sort of kind of as screens. But you want to have 4 screening ships for every heavy ship of some sort. So in the case of 9 battleships, multiplied by 4, you need to have 36 screens, which we do not have. So this fleet is just begging to die, basically, if we sent it out there, and I'm not going to be doing anything like that. Nothing of the sort. Frankly, I'm probably just going to end up retrofitting the crud out of that navy a little bit later. You, please, stop whatever you're doing. Okay, so they're continuing to try and push me out, and that's annoying, but fine. If we can just push you guys out a little bit more aggressively than you are right now, that'd be great. Can you assist over here, Mr. Tank? Let's see if we can get a little bit more of my breakthrough working into my favor there. If we can finish this group off, it'd be easy to finish them off as well. We're almost done with Mirage Gempol, whatever you're supposed to call it. I have no idea. Let's just go ahead and finish them off. Yeah, I don't know. I feel fine about this. But the oil is going to be a situation. So, all I want to do is get to a point where I feel like I have enough control of this front line that Germany's not going to make any pushes while I let the commune worry about the rest on the west. I'll go take out Azerbaijan while they're not a part of any faction, grab a load of oil. With that, I'll be able to go ahead and refocus my efforts and try to take on the Germans as much as possible. There we go. Look at all those beautiful overruns. Oh, yeah, dude. All right, all of you hold tight for a second. I just want the tanks. Tanks, go over here. Let's go ahead and clear them out. Frontline stuff. Well, that's fun. Can you actually get down here? There's a river in the way. All right, tell you what. Why don't you come over here, then? Rivers are in the way, and I don't want to deal with any of that. So what do we just get? What did we just get? Frontline. So we get extra recovery rates for my units. That's pretty good. Air bases, air doctrines, blah, blah, blah. That's all good. Army modernization, radar technology. That'd be great. High command. I'm going to go ahead and, I think, grab the Navy modernization, which I wouldn't have thought was very important, but because I'm not feeling very worried about this war right now, I feel like we can safely do that. So I'm going to try for it. Why did it not take effect? Oh, there we go. Now the symbol disappears. Goodness gracious, what the heck happened over there? Anyway, so yes, I want to try for it, all right? I want to experiment. I want to get good at that parts of the game that I know I'm weak on, because I just think that that's how you get better, you know? Working on some factories to continue getting collaboration governments going with the Ottomans. What else do we want to do right now? Anything? No, I don't think so. Now let's see. Where are my spies? Are you still injured? Looks like you must be. You're available in 71 more days? Ouch. Okay, where are you? You're back at home. No. We're going to leave you over here in the Ottomans' territory. Just go ahead and build up a spy network while the other two end up doing a collaboration government. That way we can just try to chain as many of those together as possible. The goal being to take over all of Turkey, grab all that delicious chromium to fuel more of my tank armies going forward. Can you guys just all apply your forces right over here? These guys have, like, nothing in terms of organization. Every one of them that dies just makes it that much easier, and there they go. They're completely overrun. Bye! Okay. We just inflicted a lot of casualties. All right, let's go ahead and reorganize the tanks. We're going to push somewhere else. The question is where. It'd be nice to possibly try pushing directly down through Warsaw, down the river, and see if we can encircle everybody in this general vicinity. They'll have a few towns, and that's a slight issue, yes. But it's not that bad. Let's go ahead and modify my lines a little bit. You can stay pretty much as is. You guys are going to move over probably like this. There we go. And Pink, you pull back a little bit so you can actually hold the line against Poland. And I think that should be more than enough. We'll do something like this. There we go. Okay. And let's go ahead and change up this front line like so. We could go for a very small little encirclement right here, I suppose. Wouldn't be a very large one, but it doesn't need to be a very large one, and I'll just take whatever casualties I can get. Sure, let's see if we can do the exact same thing all over again. By the way, don't think that I've forgotten that I would like to go ahead and turn these guys into 40 widths going forward. Let's go ahead and do that now. We have the experience, since we've inflicted enough casualties at this point. We're going to go for the 40 width medium divisions, and that basically just means the same thing, but doubled. So let's go ahead and toss on a whole load more medium tanks. I would love to replace some of these with things like self-propelled artillery and stuff later. But for now, let's just go for something like this, and then mobile battalions, more motorized, and so on. It doesn't matter what order you put these guys in. It's A-okay. That still leaves 36 organization, which is not an absolute ton, but it does have an absolutely monstrous 900 summit breakthrough. Now, the problem with this is, once you've overcome the defense value, extra breakthrough isn't necessarily beneficial. I don't think it leads to extra damage, so this could be just outright overkill, which is why I don't need it right now. We could actually just replace a couple of these medium tanks, for now, let's say, with a couple of extra motorized to get up there. And yes, that is a good 100 summit less breakthrough, but it's a fair bit more organization. It's a thing you can do, but I know that if I don't go for the classic lots and lots of medium tanks, people are going to yell at me. So we're going to go for this. This is supposed to be the ideal. We'll go for the engineers, we'll go for the maintenance, we'll go for the armored recon, I suppose. Mostly for the movement speed bonus, because recon's good in that way. I don't really need to use any artillery. Anti-air would be tempting. That could be helpful. So we're going to go ahead and save these, and this is going to get, let's say, a superior unit template label right there, so I'll keep track of them. And that's going to cost a lot. That takes 600 medium tanks for every one that I want to build. Just one of them. 600 tanks. I do not have 600 tanks. Just to give you an idea how freaking expensive that's going to end up being. But just one or two of those will be able to smash front lines with, like, no trouble at all. It's a monstrous amount of soft attack and a monstrous amount of breakthrough to make sure that we get full advantage of that soft attack. Alright, let's go ahead and begin the small little push right along here using these medium tanks. You guys are going to push that way. You're going to push down along this way. We'll try to kind of double up a little bit on this line. Look for any weak points. And let's also go ahead and just send some extra reinforcements along here. A couple of you join up over here as well, just to give us some flanking bonuses. Make it a smidge easier. Can you hit here? You can, so let's go ahead and do that. Might as well just give us a little advantage. Once we break through the lines, as long as we don't give them a chance to recover, that's when my tanks absolutely can slaughter. So just getting through that initial entrenchment is going to be pretty helpful for me. Alright, anything else I want to be doing over here with resistance and stuff? Probably not. We could be going for some upgrades, I suppose. Compliance growth speed. That seems pretty good. Let's go ahead and work on that. That could be helpful for me. We can see the collaboration. We did get one with the Germans last time around. It was 50%, which is unbelievably massive. So I look forward to making them capitulate to me. Everyone else is looking sort of okay. Georgia's giving me a bit of trouble, admittedly. So is Ukraine, the Baltic Duchy, basically everybody that I'm conquering in this big war right now. But yeah, you can see here, by the way, that yes, the breakthrough is enough to... Well, actually, it's not enough to overcome the defense on their own. But because we have 4 units going against 2, it's random which one they're going to attack, but the odds of at least 2 of these guys focus firing down 1 means we will overcome their defense, and that's good enough. Now we absolutely are focusing our fire, and boom, we're starting to push. Okay. This is good. I'm going to ask you to also attack from this direction if possible, so we can have even more flanking advantage. And have one of you also do that from here. Okay, as much flanking advantage as possible, so all these guys can focus their fire. One of them has 400 defense. That's the only reason these guys were surviving as long as they were. My tanks are continuing to make some very speedy pushes. Let's go ahead and start moving some units forward to fill in that front line before it becomes a problem. Gonna try to start pushing right over here just so we can try to join forces up a little bit faster. And we got an upgrade for my fighter. Beautiful. Or no, that's not my fighter. Was it my fighter? Oh, that's my close air support. Ah. Close air support I don't feel like spending any of my air experience on, at least not right now. Is the game a little loud, by the way? Kind of hard to tell sometimes. I suspect that I accidentally made it a little bit too loud, and having my mic gain up as high as it is just making some issues there. Anyway, alright, so those are all getting upgraded. We could upgrade things like tactical bombers. Don't really feel like I need to right now. If we were going to go down a naval doctrine, what I think I would want to do is probably go down trade interdiction. Because the extra light cruiser surface detection and organization is pretty darn strong. And then if we go down on the left route here, our surface visibility goes down. And basically the meta right now, that at least I want to test, is with the idea of using Roach Destroyers, which is basically the cheapest destroyers you can make, like level 1 engine, or 1 engine and 1 gun, very cheap, you just pump them out, preferably of torpedo variety, and then a load of cruisers. Some people have debates as to whether light cruisers or heavy cruisers are better at that job. Heavy cruisers might be better for survivability, but what you do is you create a cruiser that is as fast as possible so that it can't be hit by enemy battleships. It just has unbelievably high evasion chance. But it shreds enemy screening ships, their destroyers, which means your torpedo destroyers now have the free range to just shoot torpedoes and obliterate the capital fleet. So you only really need like 2 or 3 different ship types to make an unbelievably good fleet, but it all comes down to maximizing speed and evasion. Trade interdiction, pretty good for that. Right here, reducing surface visibility of cruisers just makes it that much harder for them to get shot. So that's pretty solid. Now, if I were going to go for some more ships and stuff, though, what would I want? Honestly, we're probably only going to be building level 1 or 2 destroyers Maybe better cruisers could be good. Airplane catapults, maybe. We could try going for some better gunnery. Light guns are probably what I want. I think. Light guns are the ones that I'm pretty sure are able to actually shoot enemy screens better. So that's what we would want to get there. Fire control we would need to get probably. We could also just get better engines by doing things like this, and engines matter. Let's go for the advanced cruiser hull. Let's try for it. I'm curious. I want to find out. I also need to make sure that I continue clipping along at a good speed on this series, otherwise people are going to start getting a little annoyed with me. They want everything to go fast, that's how it goes, right? Alright, so now we have... Actually, you know what? You guys pull out, don't even be reserves in this fight. And you guys, pull back, let them... Whoop, nope. I wanted to have these guys lead the charge, if possible. But it looks like we're going to have trouble with that. Alright, never mind. Just go ahead and start hitting them. We'll take them out. We'll take them out. You guys get down here, please. Keep filling in those front lines. The Reichspark to now get South Africa. Amusing. Okay. Go ahead and attack here, please. Thank you. These medium tanks are still making their push over here, and it looks like they are doing an absolutely fine job of shredding through and just moving fast in general. You guys sit tight for a second, though. I think we're going to be able to get the encirclement that I want pretty easily, without much help. I don't think they're sending in too much in terms of reinforcements. And our tanks are only just now joining the fray. There we go. Okay. So you guys back off. There it is. Got him. That's another little encirclement. Okay, I'm going to jump forward a little bit as we just keep doing this until something changes and is worth talking about. Looks like we're finally cracking through all of this nonsense, so that's gone. Almost made a successful push down here into Warsaw. Though we're starting to run into a little bit of resistance on the way there. Managed to at least get across the river, so that's going to have to count for something. We can then just push down a little bit more into Radom or something over here. That's going to be another really nice big encirclement. Let's go ahead and pull my tank division's down here with that express goal. You guys actually can abandon that attack entirely. Why don't you head down here and help me out? Grabbing Warsaw is mostly just trying to maybe force Poland to capitulate and kind of abandon a lot of these troops and make my life a tiny bit easier, but it probably isn't going to work, and that's A-okay. Let's actually abandon this. It's no longer relevant. Go to Radom. You guys abandon that fight. Go ahead and regenerate some organization. You guys try to cross that river as well. So we can do this. That's going to be pretty significant. Gosh, I love mobile warfare. It does take a lot of extra work, right? Superior firepower, you get the right stuff, you get the planning bonuses, you set it, you forget it, and that's it. Hopefully you have just the raw stats to obliterate everything in your path. Mobile warfare is, in my opinion, one of the most effective ways, though. Oops, there we go. One of the most effective ways to take out pretty large enemies with minimal casualties. Don't get me wrong, you can do micromanagement with superior firepower, and it's actually pretty good for a tank route. Let's see, under superior firepower, if you go down integrated support and then you go down airland battle, you get some pretty nice modifiers for your tanks down here too. It's also completely viable. But I like mobile warfare. I think Blitzkrieg is pretty darn good. It's nice. It's really good, and we're seeing some of the benefits, and these are only the 20 combat width. If I could just start producing some of these 40 combat width, then you'd really have something to be afraid of. The fall of New Orleans. Ooh. That tells me that it looks like the American Union state is possibly on its last legs. Yeah, they're being pushed down toward Florida and Georgia right now. So pretty soon it looks like the U.S. is going to emerge from this victorious. Minus New England. They lost New England. That's going to be part of the Entente as an independent nation. Also, they lost Hawaii, but I mean, really, what kind of a loss is that, right? It's practically nothing. Looks like we got another major encirclement right along over here. All went well. Got to take out this main victory point. We were able to at least rob them of a couple more, so that's nowhere near enough supply to support all these troops. And that's going to be at least another couple 100,000 casualties for them. We finally have enough medium tanks. I actually could try producing a couple of these 40 combat widths. It's not very many, but 2 with 900 breakthrough each. At this point in the game, I mean, we're a year ahead of time in terms of tanks. They will slaughter everything in their path. Yeah, it's worth trying to do that. We also really need to figure out how we're going to deal with this oil situation. It's only making things harder. Hey, excavation tech. That's kind of helpful at the very least. Let's see, what else we got to work on now? So, 1940 still. Could go ahead of time on some production. Tempting, actually. Fire control systems might be something worth researching for my ships in the future. We're already working on some of this. We could go for things like sonar, which is nice if you want to try and detect enemy subs, and obviously that can be pretty significant. Fire control methods, good for armored cruisers attack. Damage control to reduce the chance of critical hits. I think we want to research an improvement to the light gun. We should be able to do so fairly easily. It's cheap. We could go for that passive sonar, but I am instead going to go for the trade interdiction. 440 days, though? That's a very long time. Do I want that? I mean, depth charges, I suppose, are a thing we could do instead. What about for my land army? Hang on. You know what? Let's go ahead and just upgrade the anti-air. Anti-air is good. It's the poor man's anti-tank. It's a good thing for me to use, and frankly, the enemy is not making enough use of tanks. That anti-tank is that great, but they are using a huge air force, so anti-air makes a lot of sense. Let's go for a research bonus for our land doctrine, so we can make more progress down the mobile warfare and get better blitzkrieg techniques. Hello, we have missed at least one unit that we were supposed to upgrade to a proper defensive infantry, haven't we? Yes, let's go ahead and fix that. Anybody else I'm missing? I think that's everybody. Okay. Looks like they are successfully pushing me out over here, but honestly, this is fine. I'll retreat back here across the river, which is more defensible as it is, and not take losses against their heavy tanks, because, I mean, why? Why take losses against heavy tanks when I can just retreat instead? Collapse of the Union. Ah, yes, the American Civil War is officially ending. Okay, well, there we go. Let's go ahead and take a look at our government and see if we want to change anything up. So, Chief of Staff. Fire support for artillery, no. Defense, no. Psychology, probably not. Maneuver, however. There we go. Armored division attack and defense plus 10%. And also just faster speed. Speed is king. I'm getting that, because it just means I have significantly better tanks. Oh my gosh, I see at least... Oh, wow, look at this. So that was somewhere on the... At least on the order of like 60 or so divisions that we have encircled around here. Oh my gosh. How you guys are still holding against the French, I really have no idea, because as far as I'm concerned, at this point, the Germans and their allies should have lost so many divisions, they got practically nothing left. Heck, we actually should have had this, but they actually retreated so many reserves. There's at least 42 remaining over here, but they're going to just get shredded because we're just trickling in there one at a time. There they go. Completely overrun. Couldn't do a dang thing about it. Wow. Wow. All right, well, that frees up some armies. Now, we said we wanted to go... Whoa, what happened here? I'm sorry? Who is over here right now causing trouble for me? Great question. Apparently somebody did a naval invasion or something. I don't know. Well, let's go ahead and set up our medium tanks in this direction, because we did say we want to go and take out Azerbaijan to get some oil, because that will solve some of my problems. You can see we're starting to build up a fuel reserve again. But there we go. New England and the Bryantia Commune. So New England has apparently just given up on a few things. They decided not to get... Oh, they rejoined the U.S. Oh. I didn't know that would happen, actually, if the United States won the Civil War. Truth be told, that's because I've never actually seen the... Well, I've never seen the United States win in that. But now they've joined the Entente. Okay. Well, that's fine. I have zero intention of antagonizing the Entente, at least for a good long while. Orange, your front line can narrow up a little bit. So what I really want to do now is start moving pink up here to fill in the rest of the gaps, kind of like this. Alright, that way we have some proper entrenched defensive units. Light blue still exists for some good offense, but I'm not really worried about them right now. I think it really is going to come down to just making sure we take out Azerbaijan. But let's figure out what we're losing over here in Georgia, because obviously this is not supposed to be a thing, and I'd like to know what the heck happened. Also, I should note we are currently capped out on our army experience, so I can either change up some more templates, which is tempting, but I'm not sure strictly necessary. I mean, I guess we could just toss on more cavalry to save on support equipment, but it's not a huge deal. We could toss on a few extra support companies, and some anti-air would probably be wise on these guys. We could do the same on, let's see, my Space Marines. They already have anti-air, so that's fine. What about... We don't have any more of these, do we? I can't delete the templates. We have at least 15 divisions using the wrong template right now. Okay, fair enough. I don't think there's much that I really feel the need to change over here, honestly. I think this will be fine. So, one of the best things that we could probably do is go to, let's say, my medium tanks that are currently being produced, and go ahead and create a new variant of that. What do we want, though? I'm thinking probably some extra main gun and reliability, and then maybe a bit of extra armor and more reliability. There we go. So we'll be at 96%, which is really quite good. We get to increase our soft attack of a smidge, And we increase our armor by another 8, which again is just that much harder for enemies to pierce. It's not bad. Speed is still only going to be 9 kilometers per hour, and that's fine. I think 8 kilometers per hour is the speed of heavy tanks, and it's like 10 or 12 for motorized and light tanks or something like that. But this is still fast enough, it's okay. So we're going to go for this, and let's go ahead and start producing some more medium tanks. Better armor just means more survivability. Better guns mean just outright winning fights more often. Okay, we were able to clean up that situation, no problem whatsoever. Excellent. Let's go ahead and move these guys all over here. They will assist in the assault against Azerbaijan. On the off chance that my medium tanks struggle in mountains, which frankly wouldn't surprise me, I'm hoping that just raw stats will be enough to ultimately overcome any of that. Hey, look, an advanced cruiser hull. Well, that's going to be pretty sweet for me, I imagine. Okay. Well, I do know that things like improved airplane catapults can be nice, because it can be good for spotting enemies, but I think I do... there's probably more important things to work on first, right? I can't neglect the main game just because I'm going to try to play around with navies. Is there anything else here that'd be really advantageous? Well, we're not that far ahead of time. We could start researching the self-propelled artillery. That's not going to take very long to research. And if we can start producing them and working them into my 40 combat width, it would save us on the more expensive medium tanks while making my 40 combat width divisions just better. Like, a lot better. So we're going to try to see if we can do that. Attack Azerbaijan. Let's go ahead and do this. It's going to take 21 days, but then we will automatically declare war on these guys, and so long as they are not in any faction, that's a pretty easy fight for me. Now, they're likely going to join the Reichspakt. Almost certainly, because I'm already at war with them. So we won't get to just, like, conquer them outright and build up compliance the way I would like to. Still, it will give me, at least for now, control over the oil fields, and that's pretty good. The other oil fields worth taking over would be in Romania. But they're one of the few nations in Europe that's not currently attacking me, so I probably should not be opening up another front line for no good reason. My numbers look superior to the enemies over here, by the way. Well, that's good. So as soon as we're done with Azerbaijan, maybe we do just go for the kill. Maybe we just go ahead and bring the tanks over here through Poland, make a push up toward Berlin, and just entrench ourselves for a bit or something. I don't know. Schwerpunkt is done, or however you're supposed to say that. That's the next round of Doctrine. We can go for the Blitzkrieg, which of course results in a bit of extra organization for motorized cars primarily, which is good for my big tank divisions, because that's our primary source of organization. Plus, the tanks themselves get organization, and they recover faster. This is good enough that I actually think I'm willing to spend some army experience to make that go faster, because it's just, it focuses a lot of extra value in my high-value divisions. It just doubles up on what I'm already good at. Let's go for an upgrade to our anti-air. Still think that that's going to be worth it overall. And yeah, let's go ahead and start working on trade interdiction now. Actually, no, 440 days. I'll bet you we can get one. I bet you we can get a ahead of time. Sorry, a speed, a boost. There we go. In the national focus tree somewhere instead. So you know what? Forget that. Let's instead go for. Let's go for the depth charge throwers, so that I will be able to create some destroyers that will hunt down submarines, so that we do not lose convoys going further forward. Just because I figure that's got to be good. I don't know if I'm going to make use of it. I'd just like to have the option. Medium self-propelled artillery is researched. That'll be nice. Beyond that, let's see. Rocket artillery, don't think so. Upgrade to regular artillery, don't think so. Naval bombers are also quite good. Can't underestimate that. Could also just go for better ground support and stuff for our planes. And all that's possible. I think I either want to go for radar, or I want to just go ahead and get ahead of time on some production. And I think I just want to go ahead and get ahead of time on production. We're like a month ahead of time. It's really not that bad. That seems completely fine with me. We should be finding ourselves at war with Azerbaijan in about a day or so. So we are ready to go. I tightened up my medium tanks, because I don't really care if they flood back over this direction. I just care about quickly encircling and crushing a few units and getting down here to the capital and trying to force them to die as fast as possible. So let's go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to focus fire hard on his cavalry. As you can see right here, it's working just fine. Let's then go ahead and split half of them off and push up here to clean these guys out real quick. Purple, you go ahead and push. And the Space Marines should be able to do their job. Azerbaijan joins the Reichspakt. That is to be expected, and we get a Doctrine boost. Okay. Don't really care about Japan still. Going down some of these could be pretty nice. Doctrines. Air superiority, fighter tech, naval bombers, military infrastructure. But this only comes from extensive planning, which I can't do because I went for spearhead doctrine. So no. What about something here? Let's see. Divided naval staff. We can at least get rid of the divided naval staff. That's pretty good. So fleet and being, or trade interdiction. I mean, we're going to go for the trade interdiction. There's also just some more dockyards and stuff. But yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Because if I recall correctly, yeah, we have minus 75% naval doctrine research speed. That's the reason it was taking 440 days. Okay, yeah, makes a lot more sense to just ignore that then. Way more sense, good lord. Looks like we are able to outright overrun a lot of Azerbaijan's troops and encircle some small little groups here and there, so they're all pretty much done for. Why don't you turn around and head down here toward Tabriz. The rest of you guys just go ahead and push all the way over to Urmia. I did manage to grab that capital. Let's just crush these cavalry real quick. If we can get this city, I imagine that will be the end of them, and that's going to be a lot more oil for me. Now, granted, I don't get full use out of it right now because it's occupied territory with no compliance. Still, it is something, and I will happily take something over nothing, don't you know? A little bit more there. There we go. All right, that should be enough, right? No? Maybe not? All right, why don't you come around this way, then? See what happens at the end of the day. Should be just a couple more hours, and we'll find out. Yep, that's the end of them. All right, and there goes Azerbaijan. Thank you! Now it's time to go ahead and bring the fight back to the Eastern Front. Okay, all of our troops have returned from the front over in the Far East. Now we can get over to Eastern Europe. Let's go ahead and grab the tanks, just the tanks alone, and let's see if we can push over this way toward Warsaw, preferably ignoring the river entirely, just bypassing this darn thing. I have a few extra units pop in to assist some of these guys. I would like to go ahead and also assist across the river, so we have technically a flanking bonus. That's a little bit of extra fuel refining done. Let's go for some more concentrated industry for just raw factory output. Though at the moment, we're looking just fine in terms of logistics. In fact, I've added on a couple more of the 40 combat with mediums onto the front line. If I was training a lot more heavy tanks, what I would say is we can actually start creating 40 with Space Marines as well. And again, they're mostly artillery-based, but they're going to be good in the mountains whereas I can use my tanks exclusively in the flatter lands. Though you can see here, we had absolutely no problem with these 6 tanks simply just pushing through like they did there. And now, as long as we can hold off this attack, which really should be no problem at all, we can then push into Warsaw, finish that off, and at least I'll control this side of the river, which will make it easier, because what I want to do is go right along the river here and cut off all of the forces around Danzig. That would be the next goal. The fall of London? Whoa, wait, what? Whoa! The Entente is making a push. Ooh! The Dominion of Canada actually is making a successful push for the throne. Okay, Britain might actually go Entente. And the Two Sicilies has made a push. Wait a minute. After all the effort I have put into smashing huge numbers of Reichsmacht soldiers, you're telling me the Third Internationale is still losing? How is this even possible? I can't say that I really know. I am absolutely shocked by that. That's not good news for me, in the sense that it's going to make it a lot harder for me to take out the Reichsmacht. But there we go. Fall of Warsaw, at least that much is done. So there we go. All right, so we're going to end this video here. Yes, we took over a fair bit more territory. I've got more resources. We were able to kill a lot of units. The German Empire is holding because of Austria, and the Third International is falling, which means soon they're going to put everything they've got up against me. That is scary. And we need to be ready for it. The faster I can move down on Germany and finish them off, the better. Because otherwise, I'm going to be fighting at a disadvantage going forward. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If so, then I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.
Alright, let's go ahead and do it.